All right, guys, welcome back to the P.A.T. podcast.
I am Pat.
And I am August, and we are your hosts, your co-hosts. This is our final episode, Patrick.
Yes, it is our final episode.
The Super Bowl was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was about 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah.
Man, it's no joke, man. The NFL season
it was about a week and a half ago, actually. But
No, I remember sitting here with you watching it on this couch with this TV, the first game of the season. Now it's over.
Yep, yeah, for sure. It's been an absolute...
It was a good journey. Journey up and down a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We missed a couple weeks, but that's to be expected. We're college seniors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a lot.
To graduate. We've got a lot going on right now.
Mm-hmm. We got a lot going on.
In fact, I've got a computer with nursing notes in front of me. But, Patrick, I just want to take a moment to kind of reflect on the season that not only football had, but that we had, and then also the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
So, did you have the Eagles winning? Did we have the Eagles?
We did not have the Eagles winning.
I don't think that was
not on my bingo card.
You and I both said the Chiefs, but I mean, even before the season began, I don't think I had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I had either the Chiefs or like
the Lions.
The Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, teams like not even the Commanders making it in the playoffs. It's crazy.
No, I thought the Commanders were gonna probably go 9-8 at most. Jaden Daniels is going to take time to develop, but oh boy, he went 12-5.
He went crazy.
Crazy,
leading his team to the NFC Championship.
Absolutely.
So, Patrick, give me some thoughts about the Super Bowl that we just had.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl. It was the last day with my long hair. In case you guys didn't see, I got my hair cut right here. Yeah. So this is the first time you're seeing this, or those of you tuning in. But basically, the Super Bowl. It was interesting. That's for sure. What we saw happen was not what we were expecting.
It got so bad that Patrick and I went outside to throw a football around. it was that boring.
Oh,
it got
yeah.
really bad.
It wasn't particularly that boring. It was just mid, honestly.
Yeah, I wouldn't say because it was high scoring, but it was only high scoring for really one team for a large amount of the game.
Yeah, the worst part.
The Chiefs tried to come back.
Yeah, the worst part about it is I wasn't up here to celebrate or anything like that.
Yeah,
I was.
You weren't even here.
Yeah, I wasn't at the party or anything like that.
It got so bad that me and some other guys went outside. I forgot you weren't even here.
Yeah, I was back home getting this cut. So
yeah, he's getting a fresh cut.
For
senior stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I watched it back home at my parents' house, and I will say this: I saw how physical the Eagles got with their defense. First of all, their O-line were absolute monsters throughout the postseason. And I will admit I have underestimated their O-line. It was kind of pretty much, I would say, if the Raiders actually got a correct O-line against the Bucs in that Super Bowl.
That 03 Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see how it panned out because every time Jaden Daniels got the ball, it seemed, the Eagles scored in that Super Bowl. And that was crazy.
Wait, Jaden Daniels?
No, not Jaden Daniels. Jalen Hurts.
It's because you love the Commanders so much.
Yeah, Matt and I love the Commanders a little bit.
Shout out Matt.
Shout out Matt.
Hey, shout out. I know this isn't football, but shout out Skip.
Yes, shout out Skip.
Man, he's in the seminary now. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He's gonna be a priest. So nice job, Skip. Patrick and I are very proud of you.
Yeah, we got your message tonight.
Tonight. Yes.
So
thank you, Skip. Shout out Skip. But yeah, every time the Eagles got the ball, they just scored. Saquon scored. A.J. Brown scored. Devontae Smith scored. Everyone just scoring all around. Cooper DeJean scored a pick six. Yeah. So all my white boys out there.
But yeah, basically what I would say is
Patrick played bad.
Mahomes he played a terrible first half.
Terrible game. That was a lot of that was on him, but his offensive line was
his O-line was not good at all.
All right, Patrick. I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if our viewers know this, but. Blitzing, right? That's how you get home most of the time.
Yep.
The Eagles did not blitz one time during that whole game.
No, they didn't.
All they did was drop back and rush four. And that's an average rush.
That's zone and man coverage.
Right, exactly. A blitz would be bringing like an extra guy, like a fifth guy or six or like 8 guys.
Yep.
But they only brought 4 every single time. So they didn't blitz once. That's how good the Eagles' defense is. They didn't blitz one time.
It was pretty much everything Kyle Shanahan should have done, but wasn't able to against the Pats or the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And what I will say is the Eagles were absolutely a demolition crew, and we were talking about how the Chiefs were architects and Spags was an architect. The Eagles were a complete demolition crew. The Chiefs did one thing that whole Super Bowl that they did right, and that was stopping Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
that
but
was
it
the
doesn't
one
really matter
thing-
when everything else is going.
Yeah, it was the one thing they did do right. But the problem was they couldn't stop Jalen Hurts from throwing the football.
Mahomes threw 2 interceptions. I don't know if he fumbled it at all.
He didn't fumble it, but he threw a pick six.
DeAndre Hopkins didn't catch really anything.
No.
He caught a touchdown, but he was dropping some.
He was dropping some.
Yeah.
Kelsey was dropping some out
Kelsey
there.
caught like 2 balls.
Yes.
Yeah, for like 11 yards. He was bad.
Oh, he
and
was
I saw
very
some
bad.
of the tape, Patrick. Kelsey wasn't even trying, it looked like. So
Yeah, it
Chris
seemed.
Jones hurt his neck.
Oh yeah, that's right. We
He's a Hall
saw
of
that.
Famer, yeah.
We saw that happen, and that from then on out, the Chiefs' defense imploded quite a bit.
Yeah, it's what happens when you're not the better team. Now, how do we feel about the Eagles' future? You think they're going to be able to get back to the Super Bowl?
I think the Eagles, they have two paths they can take at this current point. Number one is they continue to build off of what they have right now. They don't have very many free agents.
Yeah.
They don't have.
No, Patrick. They have a lot of free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if you realize that. No, see, that's why I'm like, a lot of their guys, especially on defense, are free agents.
Oh,
yeah. So they're not gonna be able to re-sign everyone.
Yeah.
Zach Bond, the guy who
Yep.
intercepted Mahomes, he's a free agent. There's a bunch of free agents. There's a lot of free agents.
well then here's.
and I
what,
think Brandon Graham's gonna retire.
yeah, here's what the Eagles need to do.
What do they need to do, Pat?
They need to do two things. Number one, retain their best players.
Yeah, because they know that they're not going to be able to retain everyone, but let's retain the guys who matter.
Who
right?
do
Who
matter the
do
most.
best.
And that's the first thing. Second
Second
thing
step.
they need to do is they need to build from the draft. They need to
course.
look at They need to look at
their
underslot.
draft has been really good. They got Cooper DeJean and
Mm-hmm.
Quinton Mitchell. Both of those two corners played excellent this year.
Oh, yeah.
They got Jalen Carter. They got Jordan Davis. They got N'Kobe Dean. Their draft has been pretty
They just need to
phenomenal.
keep
They got
building.
Devontae Smith.
Yep.
They got
Oh,
Jalen
yeah.
Hurts.
They need to just keep building off of that. And the Eagles do have some depth that they can make up some of these losses with. But the question is, how much is that defense going to suffer? Because the
When they
O-line,
lose the pieces, yeah.
yeah, when they lose the pieces, because the O-line, there are that many issues. I would say,
But Mekhi
with that.
Becton, their O-line is amazing.
Yep.
But and that's one of the reasons why Saquon almost broke the all-time rushing
Yep.
leader stats. But he didn't. That was behind Eric Dickerson
Yes.
for the LA Rams. But Mekhi Becton is a free agent, and I think they're gonna have to re-sign him. He's been really good. And let's see, Lane Johnson's. I don't think he's a free agent. Landon Dickerson. I don't think he's free. I think I think it's just Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, for sure.
But they got a lot of guys on the defense. I think Slay might retire. He's one of their corners. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. But I think the playoffs are pretty exciting this year, don't you think?
Oh, they were definitely exciting. Although
Except the Chiefs and the Eagles.
the Chiefs,
two teams that we
the
probably
two
don't
teams
want
we
to see.
did not want to
Yeah,
see. In fact,
no.
I was talking to some of my friends about it, and some of them wanted neither of them to win, and one of them,
I wanted them to tie.
one of them was to quote, "I just wish the Lions didn't lose."
I just wish the Commanders or Lions didn't lose.
Yeah, me too. Because just the problem, and we talked about this last week. The problem was just the Eagles were too physical with those teams.
Eagles punch you in the throat. They
Yeah.
got a good run game and they got great receivers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize this, Patrick, but you know Devontae Smith,
Yeah.
the guy who is wide receiver number 2 behind AJ Brown on the Eagles.
Yeah.
He would be a wide receiver 1 on like 80% of the teams in the league.
Oh wow.
He's that good. So they have 2 borderline number 1 receivers, and they got the best running back in football, Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
And Jalen Hurts is nothing to snub at. Now he's not Patrick Mahomes, but he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. He played better than Patrick Mahomes.
Jalen Hurts.
He won Super Bowl MVP.
Oh yeah, Jalen Hurts.
How do you feel about Jalen Hurts?
I think Jalen Hurts is a really good guy. I think Jalen Hurts, he was very humble with his win. He's not Nick Sirianni. He's much more likable than Nick Sirianni is.
Nick Sirianni's an idiot. I don't like him.
Yeah, but I will tell you this: Jalen Hurts, I have a lot of respect for him. The first thing he did was he gave glory to God. That's the first thing he did. He did what C.J. Stroud did as well, which is something I really admire. Same with Jaden Daniels, and it was really humbling to see that. And I think Jalen Hurts, he may look tough on the football field, but I think behind the scenes he's someone that I could kind of chill at a barbecue with. It seems.
Jalen?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. He seems like a guy that I could chill with, and he seems like someone you could root for, kind of like Apollo versus Rocky.
I love him. I love Jalen. I love Devontae Smith. I love AJ Brown, and I love Saquon.
Yep.
Yeah, Liam. Shout out to Liam. Liam had Saquon. Liam had Saquon Barkley in his fantasy this year, and Saquon went off.
Oh yeah,
he was averaging like 30, 40 points.
I couldn't win against him.
No one could win against Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was what Christian McCaffrey should have been this year. But
yeah.
Was hurt.
Yep.
But yeah. So
you know what's funny is
Patrick.
In 2020, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. That next season, they got hurt, and the Tampa Bay Bucks beat the Chiefs. The similar thing happened. 2024, 49ers went to the Super Bowl last time. Then they got a lot of people injured. They regressed to 7-10, and then the Eagles beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
Opportunities for the Niners. So we talked about what the Eagles need to do to be, they're the best in the world, but what they need to do to continue that title for next season, going into next season. What about the losers? What about the Chiefs? What do the Chiefs need to do, Patrick? What do they need to do?
I've heard a lot of talks of how Travis Kelce needs to retire and all that stuff.
He's old and he doesn't. He will never be as good as Gronk.
I will say, I think Travis Kelce. I've heard Dan Orlovsky say he has one good postseason run left in him. No. I think
that was last year.
No, I think Travis Kelce. He still has some. There's two reasons I would keep retaining him. Number one, his experience. Number two, his leadership, or at least when he is not screaming at Andy Reid in that department.
I think he's kind of an a-hole. That's just my opinion.
I mean, the whole Taylor Swift thing,
it gets in the way.
It gets in the way of things. I will say this, though. It was pretty glorious seeing Taylor Swift crying and everyone cheering about President Trump showing up to the Super Bowl, the first president to ever go.
You would have thought that there would have been more presidents at Super Bowl.
Yeah, you would have thought people like you would have thought that people like Johnson, Richard Nixon, who was a huge Washington Redskins fan back in 1972, 73 when the Dolphins went to the Super Bowl and had their perfect season. You would think that those kinds of presidents, or even Biden, who ran campaign ads saying how much Trump hated football last year, which was kind of hilarious, would go to the Super Bowl. No, none of these presidents did. And
it's interesting.
We'll see what happens with that, and we don't want to get political with this.
No, of course. So the Chiefs, so you think they should keep Travis?
I think they should keep him for one more season.
And what do you think Mahomes needs?
What Mahomes needs is, Tyreek Hill. He needs Tyreek Hill back. Number one. I think so. I think Tyreek Hill. The problem is his whole thing is he went to Miami and he chased the money, and
he was an idiot for doing that.
He chased the money. Tua, he's not his connection with Tua is not nearly what it was with Mahomes, and that's the problem. Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, in a way, they need each other, but Mahomes can survive without Hill. Hill cannot survive without Mahomes. That's number one. What the Chiefs also need to do is they need to sign free agents that actually can actually can do well. They need better wide receivers. They have a few guys that they can use, like Worthy and those guys, but they're running out of time, and they're running out of receivers that can actually catch the ball for Patrick Mahomes, and they need to do that. They need a makeover. The Chiefs' defense, what happened to Chris Jones was unfortunate, but the Chiefs' defense, what they need to do is they need to get some bigger players, I would say, that bigger players that are also athletic, that can adjust to Spag's level of defense.
What positions do they need?
They would on defense. I would say you would need some more lineback. You need some more linebackers. You need some more. You need to fix your secondary. That's what you need to do.
I agree. Like safety help.
Yep, safety help. The biggest problem in that Super Bowl and in that postseason the Chiefs had was the secondary.
Yeah.
And they need to fix that first off. It doesn't need to be like Richard Sherman levels of fixing, but you could definitely
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's for sure. For the Chiefs' offense, they need more wide receivers. They need better tight ends. Their running game's fine. I wouldn't change too much with it, especially with Pacheco. He's pretty good at his stuff, but you need more people that you can throw the football to, other than Travis Kelce.
I think they need you, Patrick. I think you need to go out there and start catching passes from.
I need to start lifting weights, man. If I need to do that, I gotta hit the gym.
You gotta hit the gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I mean, to kind of wrap this whole thing up, I don't think there's really anything else we have to say. I mean,
In terms of the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of the season, I mean, a good season,
This was an insane season.
fun season.
Like,
The Commanders run.
yeah. This season, you were either really good or you were really bad.
You know what, Patrick? I don't know if you realize this. There was a lot of bad teams. I know, like, guys, there's always bad. There has to be bad teams.
Oh, of course,
For there to
yeah.
be good teams, there
Yeah.
has to be bad teams. But a lot of the teams were really bad.
Yep.
Like, a lot of them were bad.
Oh, absolutely. They were terrible.
A lot of them were terrible.
Yeah.
Like, record-wise and play-wise.
Yeah, the Jags.
I think Bryce Young's going to have a better season this year.
In Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I think he will as well but they need a better O-line. That's the problem. That's the issue they've had to deal with.
For a little while now.
Yeah, I mean he's no Cam Newton. He can't just charge his way to the end zone every single time.
He's got a smaller frame, but even then, like, Cam Newton still got hurt.
Oh yeah, he still
got hurt.
Like he was a Superman. He could get sacked and he'd be fine. But it wasn't until T.J. Watt.
TJ hit him up high,
Yep.
and then he couldn't really throw anymore. And
Oh yeah.
it sucks because I actually like Cam Newton. I think it was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I've watched him and Shannon Sharp spar on ESPN. It's
seen
actually I really enjoy those two's chemistry, and I really like him.
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah,
Unk.
Yep, Shay.
Unk.
Yep. I will say, and it's my opinion right here, Shannon Sharp and Ray Lewis have some of the best chemistry in sports TV, in my opinion. With those two, you could not go wrong with that combination.
Stephen A. Smith, too.
Oh yeah, I love Stephen A.
Love
Smith.
Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah,
Love him.
I love how he tortures the Dallas
I was
Cowboys
gonna
winning
say,
culture.
his affinity for making the Cowboys fans miserable pleases me very much so.
Oh, absolutely, especially considering you're a Packers fan and you beat the Cowboys 48-32 last year.
Aaron Rodgers never lost in AT&T Stadium, and neither has Jordan Love. Jordan Love has never lost in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
Packers owned that stadium.
Oh, they do. They do. They've
owned it for a little while now.
They owned it for a while. Brett Favre also owned the Cowboys for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say not exactly as a Packer, but when he was with the Vikings in 09,
okay. Yeah.
in that divisional round, Brett Favre just absolutely destroyed the Cowboys in that divisional round, 34-3 before going to the Saints.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
That was Brett
It's all
Favre's,
losing to the Saints, yeah.
Yeah, that was Brett Favre's last great game until Drew Brees and the Saints defense tore him up. So.
And that was that the year that Drew went to the Super Bowl?
Yep.
And won the Super Bowl?
Yep, against the Colts, against Peyton Manning. So, but with all that aside, though, this season, I will say, first of all, the Detroit Lions were absolutely incredible during the regular season.
So injured.
They got so injured, and it imploded at the last second. When I saw the Vikings get clobbered in the final week of the season, I was thinking, okay, the Lions defense is back. They're actually back because they went up against a 14-2 team at the time, and they walloped them. They stopped
both
Sam
teams
Darnold.
got walloped in the playoffs by the Rams and by the Commanders.
Yeah, the Rams and the Commanders. Oh, the Rams. But then again, honestly, the Rams needed that win, especially because of the wildfires.
Did you hear that Cooper Kupp is going to be traded?
Really?
Yeah, from the Rams.
Who is he going to?
Green Bay. I'm just kidding. I don't know who's going to get Cooper Kupp.
If the Chiefs can get Cooper Kupp,
That'd be a good deal.
that would be one of the best deals that they
It was
could
only
get.
back in 2021 where Kupp he had the Triple Crown and he won Super Bowl MVP and they won the Super Bowl. Sorry, Pat. I know you won the Bengals.
I do not remind me of that Super Bowl.
It was a good Super Bowl.
It was a good Super Bowl, but
Pretty good halftime show too.
yeah,
Dr. Dre.
Oh yeah,
Dog.
yeah.
I
Just
think Eminem too. 50
Yeah.
Cent. Kendrick.
but yeah, just I'm not gonna get into that. But what I
the
will
politics of LA and St. Louis sports, guys. If you guys have been watching, you guys know that Patrick.
I
is
do not like the Rams.
avid.
Yeah, in fact,
Ram
there were a
enjoyer.
lot of people in St. Louis because the Rams left St. Louis. It caused so much economic damage. I actually rooted for the Bengals in the Super Bowl, and I know a lot of people. Shout Skip. But yeah, but that all aside, With that all aside, in that wild card round, the Rams really honestly needed that win because of the wildfires.
I agree. Pat.
Yeah, so I wasn't really that upset that they
But
won.
then they got routed by the Eagles.
Oh yeah, they didn't get routed. There was a close game.
Yeah, it was a close game until Saquon went off. Yeah, until the snow came down.
Yep, pretty much. That's for sure. But the Rams could hold their own, and I think Matthew Stafford has a few good years left in him before he retires. He's in his 30s right now.
I think that he was able to get. I think the fact that he was able to get the Rams to the playoffs this year was pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But granted, he was helped by a pretty mid NFC West. You didn't have the 49ers going ballistic.
Where do you think Matthew Stafford should go? Do you think they should keep him? Or do you think
Oh, they're gonna keep. Rams are gonna keep him. Oh, the Rams are gonna
if
keep
they're
him.
gonna get rid of Cup,
If they get rid of Cooper Kupp, I mean, it'll hurt in the offense.
they have Puka.
But their defense is
Defense is good.
Their defense is good. It's like Von Miller and Aaron Donald never left at this current point. Like the Rams they used to be known for their offense with the greatest show on turf. Now they're known for their defense.
That D line, you know what I mean?
Yep. They've been that way since 2017, and especially
Aaron Donald.
with Aaron Donald, 2018 too, with that defense and how they were able to do it. Now, granted, there was a lot of offense on top of that, but yeah.
But yeah, Pat, should we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I think we should. But before we do, I do want to say thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah,
we really
appreciate everyone who's liked and subscribed.
Yeah.
And enjoyed our little football talks.
Yeah, for sure.
Our little Patrick and August talks since the start.
Yeah, for sure. And we finally waited to the last episode to have a proper set here.
Proper set in person.
And with a good
reflection with a good ending.
And with good mics too on both sides.
With your haircut.
Yep, absolutely. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second thing is I want to thank the St. T's for allowing us for hosting this and allowing us to do that. Do this right here, and the community that's been so supportive of the P.A.T. podcast. It has been such a great time that we've done this, and we could not thank you guys enough for allowing us to do this.
Yes, thank you, P.A. Yeah, thank you, St. T's.
Yeah, and I want to, I wanted to thank those guys. I want to thank everybody there, and lastly, I just want to thank you, August, for doing this, man. I know things got were a bit rough with the schedule and all of that, but the fact that we got to do this podcast is absolutely incredible, and I think we're ending this on a pretty high note.
Well, I also want to make some thank yous.
Absolutely.
So thank you for the people who tuned in and watched Patrick and I talk about whatever
and some baseball
and whatever else in between, and some Madden.
Oh yeah, the 12 interceptions.
Yeah, you and Nathan. But shout out to Liam, shout out to Nathan, shout out to
Skip.
Yeah. And Father Jacob.
But
Patrick, I want to thank you, man. This has been a heck of a journey ever since we were friends freshman year, going into senior year. Now we're going to graduate, and this was something that Patrick and I wanted to do, just kind of commemorate being seniors.
Absolutely.
And, why not, right? So that's why we did it, and maybe we'll do it in the future. We'll see what happens.
We might come back. You never know.
We might come back, but right now, 21 years old.
Yep.
Yeah, so... we'll see where life takes us.
Absolutely.
But thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. It was a good season, and it was a good senior year so far. Kind of up and down.
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate you being my co-host.
I appreciate you being the co-host as well.
Well, I guess there's only one other thing left to do.
Yes, there is.
One more final P.A.T.
outro.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you for coming on.
It's been your host, August.
And I am Patrick.
Yes, and this is the P.A.T. podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good night.
Have a good night.